Hello everyone and welcome once again to my YouTube channel. I'm Grandmaster Oliver Barbosa. On this video I'll be presenting one of my games, last round game, at a very strong tournament. It's called the 10th Pars Vinat International Open. It was held in India last 2012. So if you have watched one of my videos before, I said in one of my videos that I won 3 tournaments in India. Kolkata Open being the strongest. This one is the second strongest. And I managed to perform around 2700 on this tournament, so I'm very happy. And this is a very memorable game because it's one of the tournaments where I won a big chunk of prize money. And yeah, this is the last round. Just to give you an insight of what the situation was during the last round, I am playing an international master. His name is Shyam Nikhil P. He's an international master with 2 Grandmaster norms. 2 Grandmaster norms at that time. And he actually got his first Grandmaster norm 2010. He got his second Grandmaster norm 2011. So he was on the right track going up, almost about to hit his third Grandmaster norm. And it's a very strong IM. That's what I can say. So there were 2 leaders before the final round began. It is me with eight and a half points, and Grandmaster John Paul Gomez. He's also from the Philippines. He's a very good friend of mine. Also, same age. He's my batchmate, if you call it that way. There were 4 of us Filipinos in this tournament. So the other 2 are Grandmaster Mark Paragua, and the other one is Grandmaster Richard Biton. So we used to play on these Indian tournaments around 2011, 12, 13. They offer good conditions for Grandmasters. So I think yeah, it's a very good training ground for us Grandmasters and also for the Indian players. So as you can see now, I mean, look at India. I think they're closing into 100 Grandmasters now. So there's a lot of talents in India as well. Same as in the Philippines, but the tournaments in India are just consistent, continuous. Support is overwhelming. Anyway, so I'll be presenting my last round game against an international master, Shyam Nikhil. I was playing as black. And as I've said, there were 2 leaders, me and Grandmaster John Paul. We are followed by 4 8-pointers and 6 7.5 pointers. So a win would guarantee me the champion. Champion is $4,000. Oh, I also wanted to tell you that in India, and these tournaments in India, they don't share prizes. So if you're tied from 1st to 8th, but your tiebreak is so low that you end up on the 8th place, that's not good. You're gonna get the 8th place prize, even though you're tied with the 1st place. So it's very important to start strong. And yeah, if I win this last round, obviously I'm gonna at least 2nd place. I don't know the tiebreaks, what the tiebreaks are between me and John Paul. If I drew this game, maybe I have a better tiebreak because I started 6 out of 6. If I lose this game, then I would have ended up like 7, 8, 9, 10. based on tiebreak. And of course, in this tournaments, the first top 3 or top 5 places are the target. Of course, mainly champion. Okay, so let's head to the game. My opponent played d4 and c6. This is my main weapon. I studied this extensively around 2010, 2011, 2012 until now. I still use it. So, and this is like 2011, 2012. This is like the peak of me studying this Caro-Kann lines and playing it. So let's see what happened. My opponent played d4, main line, d5, knight c3. So this is a classical main line. Obviously there are other possible lines he could have taken on d5. He can play e5 as well. He can play f3, fantasy variation. So here he played knight c3, no joking around, because this is the last round. He was also going for the top prizes, obviously. I don't know if he had gotten if he could have gotten a Grandmaster or if he had won against me, but not so sure about that. So here I take. It is important for black to take here so he can get his bishop out. Obviously, if you don't take, where does this bishop go? You don't want to play e6 and trap your own bishop inside the pawn chain. So here I took. I take c4. You get your bishop out. Knight g3, defending, saving the knight with a tempo. Bishop g6. This is all main line. This is well-known theory. So h4. I remember back in the days, 2011-12, I was studying some Caro-Kann lines like until 25-30 moves. That's how long the lines are here on this opening h6. So knight f3, trying to play knight e5. I don't want to play knight f6. If you go knight f6 here, there would be an important tempo on the bishop, trying to take it and isolate the e-pawn. I had to move it to h7, and I don't know, it's still a line, but I just don't feel like bishop c4, threatening the pawn, e6, queen e2, threatening this pawn again. I have to play knight d5, and I don't know, bishop d2 or c3, but it feels like I have just given white too many developing moves with threats. So I don't want him to have that psychological advantage. Main line is knight d7, which is what I played. Knight d7 easily stops knight e5. He cannot play knight e5. This just simply loses a pawn, right? I take, and queen a5 check, wins a pawn. So should be winning for black. No compensation for white, no standard compensation. Kings are safe. Development is not that huge for white, so I think that should be good for black, obviously. So here, main move is h5, bishop h7, and most of the time, white trades the bishop. There are some circumstances, there's some positions where white leaves the bishop alone, like c3 or bishop c4. But around middle games, on most positions, if you keep this bishop alive, let's say c3, bishop c4, this proves to be a problematic piece for white. So, main line is to play bishop to d3, trade, tick, I took, queen takes, e6, bishop to d2, there's bishop f4, of course, there's knight e4 line, there's c4, there's c3, it's a lot of lines. I mean, this is a very nice position for white as well. He has more space, he can castle here, he can choose to castle on the queen side as well, and as I've said, he has options to put his bishop to d2 or f4, so he chose to put his bishop to d2. Knight f6, of course, development. Castles, he decided to castle there on the queen side, so I already have a direction of where I want to go, but I cannot just blast him off here, there like b5, a5. You can't just do that with your king at the center of the board. Of course, you have to save your king as well. So here, I can choose to play queen c7 and maybe follow him on the queen side. That's a possibility. That's one of the lines. Bishop d6 being the main line here. And I have played a game like this. I remember that's against Susanto Megaranto from Indonesia. He's a grandmaster now as well. But we played this game like Bishop d6. I was playing as white then. So we played this game around year 2000. Year 2000. Asian under 16 in the Philippines. So yeah, right now I was the one playing as black, and I chose to play bishop e7. So of course there's a difference between putting the bishop on d6 and e7. On e7 there's more support on the f6 on the king side with the possible g4 g5 for white. You're also not blocking your queen, so there is a possibility to play queen d5 later when your knight moves or when your knight recaptures on f6. On bishop d6 though, yes, you're blocking your queen, but the point is you're putting more support on the e5 square. So next move would be queen c7. You have basically covered all the squares on the fifth rank with your pieces. So this is a very solid opening. Of course, bishop e7 was played. Queen e2, one of the main lines. King b1 I think is the main line, or knight e4. So queen e2, what does this do? It prepares knight e5. Sorry, knight e5. Coach, can't white just play knight e5? I don't think this is gonna be good for white, because I can simply take the queen and knight g4. Series of exchanges. So after two forcing moves, the third move is a simple tactic. It's a double attack. And you see how solid the black's position is. There's no like real weakness. b7 and g7 are weak pawns, but if you don't have ways to attack it, they're not weak, really weak. So anyway, queen e2 was played with the intention of knight e5. I don't think he's going for knight e4. The main plan for white is to play knight e4 and then go for something like g4 g5. So here, when he played queen e2, I already assumed that he's not gonna go for queen knight e4. I'm gonna take it, and he's wasted the queen move, right? So it's not knight e4 that I need to worry about. I think it could be knight e5. It could be something like knight f5 when he doubles up on the e file. So here I don't want to play queen c7, though I should have. I think queen c7 or rook c8 maybe. c5 is a risky move here. I know there's a line, recent lines, that if black carelessly goes for something like c5, there's something like d5 here, if I remember it correctly. The point is, if after ed5, knight f5 should be winning for white. Double attack, king f8, then rook e1, bishop is trapped. If knight takes d5, then simply c4. Knight goes back and bishop c3. Even though white has just lost a pawn, there's some good compensation because of the active pieces. Now, it's definitely risky to castle on the king side. Bishop is there. When the knight moves, let's say castles, right? Knight e4, knight e5 is also possible. Knight e4, let's go knight e4 first. and then followed by g4, g5. It looks risky, though. I believe if you put the engine on, you ask the engine, hey, what's the situation here? The engine would just shake it off. Ah, it's a pawn, man. Come on. This is winning. So of course it's totally different when you're human, and there's a lot of pressure actually. It's the last round that we're playing for the championship. So anyway, I don't want to risk this. I can't really remember the lines, but I know that there's some risky lines there, so I just simply castled here. And my opponent suddenly played knight f1. Now, as I've said earlier, I have studied, this is the years, 2012, 2013, these are the years that I have been studying the Caro-Kann extensively. So, I know that there's a knight f1 move, and he would just not care. Let's say c5. He would just not care about the pawn. That's the idea of moving the knight. Now, coach, why not knight f1? Why not knight e4? Earlier, I said something about knight e4 when he played queen e2, right? So if he's gonna go knight e4, he should have done it right away. It's gonna be a waste of turn, because I take it, he needs to recapture again with a queen. Now, knight f1, it's not a waste of move. Actually, the knight could be going to e3 and c4 as well. So it's not a wasteful move. It's redirection for the knight. The knight could be going to e3 and e3 and c4 and possibly e5, together with the main idea of g4, of course. So here, what does black need to do? I need to generate fast counterplay on the queen side or on the center. The center doesn't look that good for black, as I don't have a lot of breaks, a lot of pieces. This knight on d7, it's even blocking my queen. I don't have queen a5 right now. I can't play queen d5. c5 is my breaking move. It would free my pieces and would somehow try to open up the c-file as well to generate some counterattacks. So here, I decided, okay, let's see. It's psychological. Are you really willing to sacrifice a pawn on a championship game? It's a $4,000 game. If I win, I get $4,000. If I lose, maybe I get around 1,000. I think that's the probability there. So okay, I played king h8. So I'm like telling him, okay, how brave are you? If you still play g4, I might take it. I might not need to worry about the g-file because my king is out of there. So here he played rook g1. Now I sense, okay, he's not that prepared as well. If he's prepared, he could have just gone g4 and blasted my king off. Like if he has studied this extensively, he would just go g4 and attack my king. So when he played rook g1, okay, I felt some relief. I do not want to take on h5 as first it opens up the h-file. He can play rook h1. Second, he gains a tempo move. g4 attacks my knight. Knight can't go to f4. Knight needs to go back, and then g5. Suddenly he's fast. He's gonna checkmate me in the next few moves, I think. Maybe not checkmate, but might be a winning attack on the black king. So obviously it's not a good pawn to take. Again, I need to generate counterplay. I play knight b6 now. What's knight b6 for? The knight was blocking my queen from generating counterplay. As I've said, it should be on the queen side or it should be on the center. So I need my strongest piece. The point is I want to play queen d5. Let's say he plays g4, queen d5, threatening the pawn with the checkmate threat. He goes king b1 maybe. And the plan was to play queen b5. When your opponent is trying to attack you, trying to blast off your king, the king side of the king, it is important to trade the correct pieces or trade some pieces to loosen up, to lighten up the attack. Imagine him attacking your opponent attacking you, and then you trade all of the pieces. What can he attack you with, right? So here, this was the plan. Queen b5. He is trying to attack, so he doesn't want to put his queen to e3 as I would have played knight c4. So let's say queen e1, knight c4, bishop b3. Yeah, b3 maybe. Knight d5. And suddenly these pieces are like crawling over his king. The plan is to play knight takes d2 and bishop to b4. So suddenly, I don't know who's winning, but it feels like white is lagging behind on the king side. Feels like black has suddenly 4 pieces attacking. And some weak squares. I think black should be going first. Okay, anyway, when I played knight b6, he played c4. The idea is obvious, to stop me from playing queen d5. So here, I just simply played a quiet move. Queen c7. Now, what is the point of queen c7, coach? It just develops the queen on a passive square, connects the rooks. It's not actually a passive square. It's actually one of the best squares your queen could be right now. Just nowhere else. So you don't want to put your queen to d6, there's a 4. You want to put your queen to d7, there's a knight e5 tempo. Actually c7. It's the best square for your queen as it covers the diagonal. And possibly after you go c5, queen is already there on the c5. So my opponent played g4. Oh, it's getting hot in here. g4. I had to go c5. When I analyzed this game, I remember the computer was suggesting something like knight h7 to somehow delay white's attack. Of course, this is possible, but I can also do a counter attack, which would like be telling him, hey, I want to fight. I want a fight. I want a battle. Let's see who's faster. Let's see who's faster. So I played c5. And he played g5. And this was my plan. cd4. Sacrificing a piece. Coach, this is the last round. You're playing for a chunk of money here and the championship title on the line. I think this is the best decision. Because, first, when I sacrificed my knight on f6, I somehow managed to stop or stall his attack. Right now he has the open file, okay, but it's well protected. His bishop is open, yes, but it's well protected. His knight doesn't have any squares to jump to. This other knight is out of place as of now. And this is like the perfect timing for me to start something. Of course, I cannot just sacrifice a piece and wait. So here, I was attacking this pawn on c4. He defended b3. And as I've said, I need to generate something real fast. I cannot just wait. e5 maybe not a good move. Why, coach? You have 2 pawns at the center of the board. Should be good. e5 actually blocks my own bishop. And after something like knight g3, after he puts his knight to e4, what's happening on my attack? I just blocked my own bishop, and he's gonna take my bishop, which is protecting my king, my g7 pawn. I don't think e5 should be good. The correct approach for black is to get more pieces involved. It could be the rooks. The knight is doing well right now. Bishop could be doing well. I don't want to sacrifice the pawn yet. If I sacrifice the pawn, okay, I need to open up my bishop. Yeah, he's gonna take. Actually, without this pawn, yes, I opened up my bishop. But also, this square is free for the white pieces. He can play knight e3 and defend knight c2. So, I did not want to give up this pawn early. I can use it for later. So here I played a5. Now it's obvious that I'm gonna go a4 and open up my rook, right? He played queen d3, making sure that this pawn doesn't move forward and open up my bishop. Now, coach, what if he had played a4 here? This is actually not a good move for white because it just leaves another weakness on b3. So a simple move like I can play queen c5. You see how suddenly white's queen side was weak after a4. I can play rook fd8, a simple move. Queen c5, queen a3 is our threats. So here he played queen d3, a4. I'm so happy. Even though I just lost a piece here, I'm so happy with my position after I managed to play a4. So here, I have a strong feeling I'm gonna win the tournament. I'm gonna win this game. Actually, he was spending a lot of time here, and I felt it that, okay, I'm gonna put more pressure on him, and he's not gonna make it. And I think that's what happened. He played bishop to b4. Simple attack on my rook. I think this is just helpful for black. The black rook moved, and I think when the bishop moved to b4, it just helps me. I mean, I can play knight d5 later and attack that bishop. Even though he attacked my rook first, the rook is going to be useful on the d file anyway. He played king d2. He was not afraid of this pawn going off because obviously it's blocked. But the point is, after I took the pawn, he recaptured, and I played a very strong move, a very strong and quiet move here. The rooks are okay. The bishop is okay, just waiting to open up. The queen, if I can transfer it to the a file, obviously that's winning, right? But there's just no way, there's just no time. If I go queen b8, it's too slow. Knight d2. Now I can't play queen a7 because of rook a1. It should be winning for white once he organizes his defenses, his pieces. So, what is the strong and quiet move that I played here? I reactivated my knight. I played knight d7. Where are you trying to go, coach? You can't go knight c5, it takes it. You can't go knight e5, it takes it. Actually, this stops him from organizing his pieces, from defending his king. He played a very bad move. Knight d2. At first, it looks like, oh, that's nice. He's bringing in more pieces to his king. His rooks are connected now, so he can play rook a1. But actually, knight 1 to d2, it's a very bad mistake. It's a losing move, actually. So, can you guys guess the winning move for black? If you found queen b6, job well done. It simply attacks the bishop. Get rid of that bishop. Why is it important to get rid of the bishop? Because you want to play knight c5. Why do you want to play knight c5? To get rid of the queen. Why do you want to get rid of the queen? To move the pawn forward and open up your bishop. So these plans are connected. I'm telling the enemy pieces, hey, you have to give way for this piece, so this piece can move, and this piece can also move. Crazy, right? It's not, chess is not just attack, defend, attack, defend, attack, defend, check, check, capture, capture, checkmate. It's not that way. Yeah, so chess is more complicated than that. So anyway, coach, what are you saying? Bishop can simply go to a3. Actually, after queen b6, my opponent resigned. He resigned and stopped the clock, shake hands, and resign. And I was the champion of the event. Coach, what would have happened if he played bishop to a3? So let's see. I was willing to sacrifice this rook. Takes. Knight c5, I managed to get rid of the queen. Take note that he cannot put his queen to e2 or c2. Why not, coach? Because after the check, king has to go to b2 and d3. Whether the white queen is on c2 or e2 doesn't matter, he loses it. I think both leads to checkmate as well, because of this bishop opening up. So, coach, what if the queen goes back to b1? It should be checkmate soon. 1, 2, 3. Check. Check. And rook a8 next move. Checkmate. Coach, what if the white queen goes to f1? It's going farther away from her king. So I don't think the queen should leave her king like this. But still, should be checkmate. Check. Check. And I can't see how white will defend the a1 square from the black rook. So anyway, it's a game of it was a crazy game that I had to risk sacrificing a piece to stall his attack. I also want to let you know, everyone know, that starting from, let me see the moves first. Starting from knight f1, when I played king h8, it's I believe this is the second best move for the engine when I analyzed it. And from here, I played all the engine's first move, all the engine's first choice from here. Not everything, I think. Maybe first choice, second choice, but in 10 moves, and by statistics, in 10 moves, I played 8 to 9 of the engine's first choice. So obviously that's one of the years, my peak years. I was around 25. I was 25.73 on this tournament. I won. Let me show you my. Let me show you some of the details of the tournament here. So this is the final ranking when I won this game. I was a 9.5. John Paul has 1 point advantage on the tiebreak. So he drew his game fast on the last game. And if I had drawn my last game, he would have won the tournament, obviously. And again, and on this tournament in India, there's no sharing of prizes. So he wins around $4,000. I win around, I don't know, maybe $3,000 or $3,500. So I won by half a point. They are tied, Grandmaster John Paul and Babu Lalit, a good friend of mine as well. And Grandmaster Mark Baragua in 4th place, highest tiebreak of all, 8.5 of the between him and Ma Chun of China. So also, this is the last round. As you can see, 8.5. I won. John Paul Gomez 8.5, but he drew his last game. Babu Lalit won, so he got 9 points. And on the 7.5 pointers, only Grandmaster Mark Paragua won. So it's Makun 8.5. He got 8.5 because of the draw, and Grandmaster Mark. So I was very happy about this tournament, and when we came back home, obviously there should be some time for some celebration. So I remember it was 1 or 2 weeks after this tournament. 1 or 2 weeks is my sister's debut. So she's a debutant, 18 years old, and I remember Wesley So attended that one. So I very happy because I just won a a big tournament. Also, on this tournament I won 9.5 points. So 2573 plus 9.5. 9.5 is rounded as 10. So 2583. Very close to Super Grandmaster. As you can see, my first 6 rounds, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 6 out of 6 before I got some draws. Okay, and I hope you learned some lessons about this game and some psychological issues about the situation of the tournament, of the rounds. And I hope to see you in my other recaps of the games. I will be doing other recaps of the games from this tournament, as this is one of the strongest tournaments as well that I have played. I performed 2710, if I'm not mistaken. It's it's 27 out of 10. So I performed like 2700 here. Okay, thank you, and hope to see you in my future recordings. Please do subscribe if you're learning, if you're interested in future videos, and thank you for your support. See you soon.